I was right. Okay, now they can hear you, Avery.
Oh, good.
Okay. I feel like the best way to start this off before we like totally dive in is to show them the candles we're burning, because I have not lit mine yet. Is yours up there? Okay, hold on. Let me share that. Let me flip this
way
screen.
over there.
Oh wait, I'll do this one. This one looks more professional. Now they can see you. Hi. I'll turn the music off. Sorry, guys.
I'm alive.
Yeah. So first off, hi everyone. So this is how crazy the past like few weeks have been. Number one, I went to Taylor Swift. It started because I went to Taylor Swift. Let's be honest. It started that week. I got back. I was sick.
You were sick, but you were also, the reason the live got pushed was because you were supposed to see Danielle and Alex.
Yeah, so Danielle and Alex came to Texas to visit Amanda, and I don't live that far. And so we were supposed to meet up, and then I got sick. So then I couldn't meet up with them. So they came, and I didn't even see them. And then Avery got sick the following week after her Taylor Swift. So we've both been sick, and now both of us are recovering from this said sickness, and we're back. So, but I figured there's no better way to start this live than to show you the candles that we are burning tonight. So Avery's candles in far back there, and what does yours say?
It's way over there, burning. You can see it.
Yeah, what's yours called?
Cassian can command me anytime, anywhere.
Yeah. This is my candle that I'm burning, and this is Tamlin is being a little bitch again. So
but they're from the same company. Sarah ordered mine for me for my birthday.
Yeah, so fun fact about me, I'm really bad about gift giving because I am the type of person where if I have a really good gift, I'm like winning, but if I don't have a good gift, I like take forever. But I did get Avery another gift for her birthday.
Yeah, it's on my bed. You want me to show it?
No, you don't have to show it, but it is
Why? It's super cute.
It is. We can just tell them.
Okay.
Avery, this is a fun fact. Avery,
it's featured in my TikTok from this morning.
Yeah, it is. People assume that like we only know each other from Sarah J. Maas or whatever. Obviously that's how we met. But I also know that Avery has a love, just like I do, for Pride and Prejudice. And so for her birthday, I got her a blanket that has the entire first page of the first chapter of Pride and Prejudice on it.
Pretty sure I still have my reaction because I sent it to her on Marco Polo because I was literally leaving for Taylor Swift. So I'm like all decked out in Taylor Swift nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really cool blanket. It's like, it's beautiful. So I was like, yay, you got it.
It's
so I'm glad.
Beautiful and I love it.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I have to I don't know about you. I have to put myself back into the Sarah J. Maas mindset because we've been reading Fourth Wing, obviously. Well, you and I finished.
No,
You're fine? Oh, my brain's might need to take a minute to recalibrate.
I didn't say I was fine at all. There's not a universe in which I'm fine after that book.
Avery and I, we're just going to have a real come to Jesus really quick about this book because I saw some people on Discord bring this up in the realm, but then also in general, I've been seeing this. So yes, let's just address the elephant in the room, which is that sometimes book talk as a community can overhype a book.
Yes.
To the point that it kind of ruins the book.
Yes.
A good example of that is Addie LaRue. Would you Addie LaRue is a good example because it's an incredible book. All right. In fact, I'm making my work book club read it because I genuinely loved Addie LaRue. Okay. But book talk overhyped that book to unrealistic expectations.
Well, and I think for me was where I decided to read that book because I tried to read that book between finishing ACOTAR and waiting on ACOSF.
Same.
Not the time to read that book.
Yes.
Especially as Nessian stands like we are, we were just no, nothing will do until I have that book in my hands.
Okay. I promise we won't talk about Fourth Wing for very long. I just wanted to address this, okay?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be randomly brought up throughout the night.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Another good example, and I actually really love this book, but again, Book Talk hyped it to a place of unrealistic expectations, House in the Cerulean Sea. You don't think so? Oh, I think so.
I didn't, but I think I got ahead of it. So I started reading The House in the Cerulean Sea as part of the book club that I was a part of.
Okay.
And it was the perfect little palette cleanser. I read it right after Silver Flames. It was our next book.
Got
after
it.
Silver Flames. So it was a perfect little palate cleanser, and I really loved it.
Right.
I would not have been like all up on book talk, being like, you have to read this book. But like, it's one I would recommend.
Another one, which Ashley is going to kill me for because she loves this book, but I have very different opinion.
I swear to God, if you say Bridge Kingdom,
I was going to say Bridge
come
Kingdom.
for you.
I was going to say Bridge Kingdom because I feel like book talk overhypes it without clearing up the expectations because of the ending. Like for anyone who hasn't,
think it's complicated because the third book, The Inadequate Heir.
Right. But I'm talking before, obviously I haven't read that, but I'm talking about before the duology of Bridge Kingdom. Yes, it's good. Okay. However, it was overhyped to a place where I would categorize Bridge Kingdom a little lower than the hype it was given, only because it basically has a Hallmark like ending, meaning it's wrapped up in literally 2 pages.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I wanted more from Bridge Kingdom.
Okay, so someone said, so do you all think Fourth Wing is like overhyped? No, not at all. I would say not at all. The reason I'm bringing these up is because I feel like the expectations were never met. I would still go into Fourth Wing with very low expectations, but I would let you know right now, it's
a wild ride.
I don't know about Avery. I am very, very picky when it comes to my 5-star reads because to me, a 5-star read is literally the gif of Melissa McCarthy throwing a book at you and being like, read the book. Like, those are my 5-star reads. Off the top of my head. Oh, by the way, hi, Lavin. I love you. By the way, Lavin. Okay, super side note. Lavin, can we get into a voice chat and play Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow or Saturday? Just wondering. Okay, thanks. He's one of my gamer friends, so I'm like,
who is this?
I was like, Lavin's one of my gamer friends.
Who is this man?
I was like, I love him.
Any chance to quote Tangled? So sorry.
Oh, so the thing with Fourth Wing is, what I was trying to say is I'm a very picky 5-star reader. 4 stars, 3 stars, I hand them out like candy. I'm like, yeah. Rarely will I give a book 2 stars. At that point, you just won't even see me rate it because I feel like it's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. If you go on my Goodreads and you see that I've rated a book 3 stars, it means that I liked it enough to give it a rating. But I would not necessarily recommend it.
Yeah.
But it exists.
Yeah.
If you see on my read list that I have read something but not rated it, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Don't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Same thing. Same with me.
And then I have like two hard and fast rules on 5 stars. If the book keeps me up all night to finish it, it's a 5-star read.
Yeah.
Automatically.
So
automatic 5 stars. So there are several Sarah J. Maas books that I have that are 5-star reads that aren't technically probably actually 5 stars.
Yeah. So that's where I differ. I'm very picky. Literally my 5-star reads are like, if I'm chucking a book across the room, I'm giving it a 5-star read. Okay.
I'm looking at your fucking comment.
Yeah, because I know you'll start talking about it and it'll give me enough time to go run to my room and come back in here, which will take me 10 seconds to go and then download it. It's fine.
Sarah and I both gave Fourth Wing 5 stars.
That's what I was trying to get at. So my point is that I have only ever given 5-star reads to a Sarah J. Maas book to Queen of Shadows. I didn't even give Hosab a 5-star read.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Initially, you did. You might have changed since then, but you gave it 5 stars up front.
I think initially I wanted to give it 5 stars because of the hype of it, but the more I think about it, it's a 4-star read for me because of the Therion chapters, because those really let me down.
Oh, I just take the mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why I would knock it, is because a 5-star read is like someone yesterday was like, okay, well, can you tell me the things you didn't like about Fourth Wing? And I was like, I couldn't think of anything.
So I will tell you, not like a story, but like one of the books that I rated 4 stars initially and would probably change to a 5-star read now is this bad boy right here.
I would agree. Oh, 5-star? No, I'd give it 4 still.
That's fine. For me, the things that I didn't like about this book initially,
right,
are now completely and totally outweighed by the things that I like about this book.
I would agree. Yeah.
So, because of that, it went from a 4-star read to a 5-star read for me.
Yeah.
It is one of the ones that I now, especially with what we're doing, go read this freaking book.
Yeah.
Read it and like it.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, this is a long-winded way of us saying yes, we do think Fourth Wing is worth the hype. However, I have been cautioning people this because I feel like this is important to say, which is that it is the first book in a 5-book series, meaning you don't know where this is going. Okay. So keep that in mind that if for me, it was a 5-star read. I absolutely loved it. I devoured it. It's one of the best openings of a series I've ever read, including a Sarah J. Maas book. I'm going to be honest. Okay. However, that may change based off of where this series goes. So
Yeah.
I am going to lower my expectations again for the sequel. So just so everyone knows.
I have zero capability of that, but here we are. Somebody asked how to find our Goodreads. For me, I have it linked in Instagram and TikTok in my bio. You can find mine there.
I think mine is. I don't know. I'm not very reliable on Goodreads, if I'm going to be honest. I keep the half of that reason is because I'm not a huge fan of the platform. I kind of use it as like a Pinterest where I like info dump a bunch of books on Goodreads and then decide what to do with it afterwards. I really, really want to start supporting, I'm blanking on the name, Storygraph. I kind of want to go switch to Storygraph. Yeah. But
I've heard some good things about that. The only thing that I don't like about Storygraph that I like more about Goodreads is that Goodreads is connected to my Kindle.
Oh, see, that's not a factor for me.
I just like that because I don't have to go in and update it. It just updates for me.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like, so I'm debating, but yes, you can check out my Goodreads. I think it's linked. If not, I'll share it in Discord so you guys have it. But
I'm pretty active on my Goodreads.
Yeah. So currently I'm reading, what is it? This Cruel and Lovely. That's what I'm currently reading. I think you're right. I needed to read something that was This Cruel and Lovely. I needed to read something that was still in fantasy, but like I knew was going to be like just a fun ride, and it's exactly that. It's like a great KU fun, potentially going to be smutty, I think, story. I'm very early on in it. It's so far being predictable, which is fine with me. I'm having a good time.
You and I talked about this earlier. I'm between 2 books right now on which one I'm going to start reading.
Okay.
I'm currently. Oh, hello! You found me. My Goodreads just popped up on my phone.
Oh,
the notification. But I am between. I have not read A Light in the Flame yet. Yeah. I've been putting it off. And so I might save that for when I go to the beach, which we talked about. The other thing I'm considering reading is Shatter Me, because I haven't done that series yet, and it feels kind of in the same vein, I think, from what I've heard. So
yeah. Someone asked if we've read Serpent and the Wings of Night. No,
I have not yet.
And the reason I am not doing it, just in case anyone's wondering, it is not because I know it's good. I'm going to read it. I have a hard rule on myself that I can't read a long series, and I know it's only 2 books, I believe, until we finish the mass read along. And then once we finish the mass read along, then I can dive into like more series like things. But for right now, I can only read like one-offs or series starts, just because I don't have time to like literally sit and read more than 3 books in a week. Like, I can't do it. Yeah, that's it.
No, the comments are like, do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the thought. Okay, all right, let's talk theories. So first thing I want to say is there are some things in here that we will just. There's a lot of theories in this Slido. I already looked. Some of them we're gonna go really fast. Some of them might take a little bit longer. We may even skip some just so you are fully aware because I saw like a lot of repeats. But if you have any that you want us to discuss, please put them in there. And if you want us to seriously discuss it, you need to upvote them. You can like thumbs up it on Slido so we know that that is a topic. But once we get past the like one votes, it's just it's not gonna happen. The code is Theory Thursday. So it is Slido.com and your code is Theory Thursday. So okay. First one off the bat, which I believe is I have addressed this and I feel like I'm going to need to like write this down.
This one?
Yes, and I'm going to need to explain it. And it is about the rings, which it says, what do you think about the crossover theory that the ruby ring Lydia wears in CC2 and the ruby ring Aelin gives Rowan in Kingdom of Ash are the same ring? No. They're not, okay? And this is the difference, okay? So Rowan's, and I'm gonna have to share my screen for this. Ruby.
Oh yeah, Sarah's got an emerald ring.
I have an emerald, and mine. Just imagine it as a ruby.
We want to see it.
I can show it. My ring, if my ring was an emerald, that is what Lydia's ring looks like, except hers probably doesn't have like mine's the moissanite on the side, but that is mine.
Beautiful.
Mine is based off of Aelin's ring, for anyone wondering. Although somewhat also Feyre and Tamlin's ring, but technically Feyre's was a square, not a emerald. So this is an emerald cut emerald. So that is what Aelin gets, okay? For context, this is what Rowan's ring looks like, okay? It is can you guys see that? Hopefully you can. Nope, you can't.
Hold on. Give it 7 seconds.
Hold on. I'm going to do it like this. And then, you know what?
It's still just us.
Hold on. I'm going to fix it.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. This is what Rowan's ring looks like. It looks like this one right here. See how it's like in the ring? See how it's like literally embedded in the ring, this big one? This is what Rowan's ring looks like, okay? It does not look like my ring, which is more like this is another example of what Rowan's ring would look like. It literally is like it's described as this. Like it is described as being embedded. So it is not the same thing. It is a manly version of the ring, okay? Okay, let me move this back. Lydia's ring looks like mine. Okay? It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing.
It's not.
Also logically speaking, the timelines are at this point in time the same, meaning they are going at the same time. They are not one after the other. That doesn't make any sense, especially with the way Hosab ended. It drives me up a wall that this keeps getting. Okay, let me say this. Whoever put the comment in, I'm not complaining to you. It just drives me up a wall that like this has been addressed, but like this is a perfect example of like, if you just go to the text of what Rowan's ring looks like, and you just go to the text of what Lydia's ring looks like, and you actually read the entire passage, they are not the same ring. And it is because Rowan's ring is embedded and Lydia's is not. So, no, it is not the same ring. That is my very long-winded way of telling you that.
The Archeron one got bumped up.
Okay. All right, let me bump this. Okay. What if the Archerons became goddesses? Their powers are insane and they represent the three-faced goddess.
Nesta being the crown, Feyre being the mother, and Elaine being the maid.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, I'm going to let you take this one.
Yeah. Okay, so I have never heard of this theory before. But that being said, so Nesta, when I think of the three-faced goddess, that is the mother, correct?
Yeah.
The three-faced goddess is the mother. she has three faces. It is said, when Nesta is scrying, that is how it is. That's how you know that. Nesta has a connection to the mother. And I understand the idea of the mother maiden crone situation, but if you listen to Paris Paloma's Labor, the song, um, it says I'm pretty sure it's mother made nymph, which I think is incredible because of certain, you know me.
Go
I
ahead.
always like away. And so I think when I don't think of the Archerons when I think of the three-faced goddess, I think of the Valkyries. That's what my brain does.
I also think, I know there's lots of symbolism to the three sisters, but I think sometimes people really want there to be more symbolism with them. And I don't really, to me, Sarah already did the Mother Maiden Crone thing with the Krakens. I don't think she's going to do it again with the Archerons.
I don't think she's going to do it again. I think the nymph connection and how that is describing one of the I can't remember if it's maid or mother.
Yeah.
Anyways, but like when she talks about it, it's it's one of those things that I have always likened to the Valkyries at this point, like because Nesta is so connected to the mother, like that's where my brain goes. But I think the if the three sisters are connected to anything, it's the mountains. But we all know that I think that.
Yeah. The next one, which is one that I think, unfortunately, it's a great question, but we just don't have a lot of knowledge on, which is, can you please talk about Miriam and the object that brought her back? Nobody talks about it.
There's
nothing on it.
There's nothing on, like, we know that an object brought her back, but it's never said what that object is or why. So I think we're going to get a lot more information on Miriam potentially in Hofas.
Yeah.
So I am going to reserve Miriam and Draken for a deep dive.
Yeah. The other thing too, someone brought up the harp just now in the comments. So those objects were not used. I think those would have been labeled. Sarah would have purposefully labeled them. It is clear that there are objects and things on the isle that they live, and we just have not seen them nor explored them. To Avery's point, I think there's two avenues we could go in Hofas. One could be literally Miriam and Draken and like go that route, or we could go the Helion route, which is the libraries and all of that with the Pegasus and all of that things. I think we're gonna go more towards the Helion route because that also potentially could be some great backstory for Easter egg readers for ACOTAR, meaning it's not affecting the ACOTAR series, but if you're reading Hofas and you read ACOTAR, you're going to enjoy having that little background knowledge. So,
yeah. Also, I just looked up the lyrics to Paris Paloma's song because it was bothering me. It's Mother Made Nymph.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. It takes the place of Crone.
So,
is what I like about it.
This is a fun one. Why do people forget that Rowan has lightning powers too? Do you think he's ever going to charge Bryce up? Rowan doesn't have lightning powers. Rowan and Aelin together make lightning.
I hate everything about this song.
He does not have lightning. He has ice and wind, and she obviously has fire. So when you get ice and wind together on a beach with fire, it makes lightning.
I'm just saying Sarah J. Maas did lightning spice and Rebecca said hold my beer. You're welcome.
The best it's not even that. It's not even that. Sarah J. Maas was like, we're gonna destroy a cabin. And Rebecca was like, hold my beer. Let me fix that really quick. Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. I'm not elaborating on that.
Mm-mm.
Um,
I said nothing. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
I am not answering any
I
fourth
am
wing
literally
questions.
not
This is not
responding
a
to these.
fourth wing chat.
We will have a fourth ring spoiler conversation. I'm sure we will with like Ashley and Kate because like all of us are reading it right now. So
we're all screaming about it. Amanda read it and Amanda finished it today, called us sobbing. It was great. There were like 7 people in my office.
I don't think Amanda minds me saying this because if she said it about me, I wouldn't care. But Amanda said you answered the phone and like snot was coming from her nose because she was crying. So
it was.
I was like, oh
no. And half of my staff was in my office.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you're like thinking that there's a lot of spice in Fourth Wing, there isn't. Okay.
There isn't.
The number of spice scenes is equivalent to Akamath, but it's better.
Oh, wait, she just
okay. All right.
Full snot.
Full snot. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a fun one. What do you think the difference is between Darkbringer, Shadow Singers, and the Night Court magic? Well, number one, Shadow Singers are not tied. I just want to say this one thing that I know, which is that Shadow Singers are not tied to the Night Court.
Snaps.
They are not tied to the Night Court. So I'm sick and tired of hearing. I know it's confusing, but there were Shadow Singers in other courts. So just know that they are not tied to the Night.
Like Daemati and Winnowing, Shadow Singer magic is not tied specifically to the Night Court. It just so happens that the only Shadow Singer we know of
is in the Night Court. But they're not tied. There were other courts that had Shadow Singers, which is also why when Asriel appeared, why Rhys's father was like, mine. Like that's why. Okay. Darkbringers, Night Court magic. Go for it.
Darkbringers are essentially the Illyrian warriors of the Hewn City. I don't know really what their powers are. We just know that they're powerful enough that Rhys felt he needed them for the war.
Yes, and there is honestly they're gonna require like a whole podcast episode if I had to guess, like the Darkbringers and all of this.
I think every single specific, I don't want to say race because I don't think Darkbringers are a race.
No, yeah.
But specific characterizations of the Night Court will be its own.
It kind of I don't know if this is incorrect. The Darkbringers kind of remind me a tiny bit of the Wild Hunt.
See that?
Just a tiny bit.
Only in the like, I don't know enough about you.
And I don't think they're necessarily like Illyrians where they have like a life. Like I genuinely, I kind of wonder if these are essentially like beings where their whole thing is that they fight.
Like Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior, when she like alives the clay people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of wonder if it's
that was a throwback. My bad.
Or no. I totally got what you're saying. Or like the Wild Hunt, like where it's essentially like their whole life is that they fight, and then when they're called upon, they come in. Like I don't think they're citizens of Hewn City that are just also members of the Darkbringers. Like there's something else entirely.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things where I don't have enough information, nor do I care enough to like hunt for the information.
I do think I do kind of have and I'd have to, this is like, at this point, it's a crack theory, meaning I have not done any research in this. So please don't like hold me to this. But I kind of wonder, because of the way Hewn City is described, if that was originally Hell's headquarters and Darkbringers was originally Hell's army.
Probably.
And so when Bryce gets there, that is technically her army to command. But then that...
so aggressive.
It is extremely aggressive, which is why I don't necessarily think that would happen. But she could also potentially command the Illyrians because those are also creatures of hell.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of thoughts on that. Okay. Okay. Last meaning this is our last like 3. Yes. Any theories on more? Like generally anything. It's just the.
Um,
Do you have any theories on more?
no. It's complicated because I like to think about the Morrigan as in like myth,
Yeah, yeah,
Celtic myth
yeah.
when thinking about it. And so I usually go to my Celtic myth book and I read about
The
her
Morrigan.
in that. She is a queen, technically in myth,
Yeah.
but Reese also describes her as a queen in Akamath. So, I
This is my issue with more. Okay, this is my only issue. I think as a fandom, well, okay, I'm going to use a totally different fandom as an example. Supernatural. Supernatural was really obsessed with Castile. And they loved Castile dearly. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch Supernatural?
of course I did.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Meaning the super fan, like the fandom, loved Castile. To the point that like they had unrealistic expectations as to what his character was going to be in that TV show.
Yeah.
I think more is going to fall into that same category because I honestly think that there is so much going on in the world of Sarah J. Maas, in the world of ACOTAR, that I kind of think more is going to take. Like, I do think there's more to her story, and we are going to see it. But I
Well,
don't think
especially with everything that happens, like
with
her whole chapter in Frost and Starlight.
right her whole chapter in Frost and Starlight with Heiress, with Asriel. Like, there's so many pieces of more that need to get wrapped up
Answered.
until we end the series. But do I think she's going to get her own story? No. Do I think she's going to get her own incredible pillar of a storyline? No, not really. I also think, and I think you agree with me on this, although you can say if you don't, like, I think more as a person, like, genuinely wants to just, like, live happy. Like, she doesn't want a grandiose ending situation. Yeah, like, she's happy to,
Please,
like,
please.
yeah, I think if anything, that's your theory. I think going any farther, it's fun to speculate, but I just think we start to head into fan fiction territory and not into like
I
reality of
think
the series.
I think part of the reason I think the Asriel book is next is because there was so much hinting at Heiress, there was
Yeah.
so much hinting at more, and if you're going to get into that, his book is the book to do it in
Yeah.
because he is in the middle of that. He is the one who rescued her from the Autumn Court border.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how? Heiress warned him. I don't know how Heiress warned him, but Heiress totally warned him.
Or he gave some sort of inkling. I don't know. There's so much
I
to
feel
that
like,
plot.
well, and I don't feel like it was direct, but
No,
I
yeah.
feel like Heiress got word to Asriel the same way Heiress got word to Tamlin about Lucian.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, the next one is what are the powers of the horn? Is it able to open portals out of nothing or does it need an actual gate to open it? It says also Micah said it could do anything. I think the horn I'd have to do more research on, but from my understanding, it doesn't need a gate to open. We actually, the only time we ever seen the horn in use is in Earth and Blood. It was not ever used in Skybreath.
Right.
And I do think it somehow has to be because Micah, if I remember correctly, when he used it on Bryce, he like somehow indicated he wanted hell open, right?
It's like the horn to me is like a summoning tool
Yeah.
more than anything, which
Yes.
is why like when Peleus used it, it like summoned armies.
Yeah.
But all the biggest speculation that I think we both have is that the horn is part of the Dread Trove.
Yes. Yes.
It is one of the missing objects, like the Star Sword that was taken by Queen Thea in the crossing. So
yes. Yes.
both of those items are part of High King Finn's sacred objects that were taken.
Yes. I would 1000% agree with that.
I think if you're looking for answers on the horn, pre-Hofas, you're looking here.
No.
Yes.
On the horn?
Yes, as part of the dread trove. You're
Oh,
looking here.
yes, yes. I'm sorry. I thought you meant in like understanding what the horn does.
No, but I mean, like the only place you're gonna find those answers, because it's where it's used, is Earth and Blood and Crescent and Hosap. But
Yes,
if you're looking for ties that are
it's
going to help with any kind of crossover
it's
as
Silver
far as the
Flames.
horn and how Bryce maybe uses it in Prithian or how it might come into play, you're looking in Silver Flames.
The biggest one, well, first off, for anyone wondering, which I'm sure we will discuss the horn and the dread trove in a podcast episode, which is why we're not doing a ton of research on it right now. But I can tell you right now, at the top of my head, there are going to be two main chapters in Earth and Blood. One being when they go to the temple. That is a huge chapter that talks about the horn. And then I believe there's another one, and it's the one when Rune reads the prophecy about when the Fae, when the sword and the knife reunite, whatever, and he's in the archives, and it's the Book of the Romantics. The horn's mentioned in there, and then obviously when Micah has it. So those are the three chapters.
If you're looking for any kind of dread trove conversation and how that happens and how I made the connection with the Star Sword, you're looking in all of the High King conversation in Silver Flames. You're looking at the bog, like right before and right after the bog. And you're looking towards the end when like Nesta is wielding the trove and talking to the mother, and all, like, read through those things because she's wielding the trove at that time.
The other thing too, and I think Avery and I have discussed,
and with Lanthus and his dream thing.
Avery and I have discussed this at length, which is there is a line that Nesta says in Silver Flames about how there's another object made of bone and she can't see it. That is the biggest indication that it is the trove, that it is the horn, because the horn could be potentially made of bone, and most likely was, because horns ancient horns were made of bone. And for something to be ground up in a way that was put in Bryce, it was most likely made of bone. So
it was absolutely made of bone.
In case anyone's wondering. Okay. One more. High King Heiress, obviously, no. Just listen to the whole thing.
I've read it. No.
It says, High King Heiress, will his mate Asriel be by his side? Ha. But seriously, do you think a High King will come into play later, and who would it be?
Yes, High King Lucian. You and I disagree on this. I don't think Rhys should be High King.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but I think Sarah J. Maas has other ideas. I'm not disagreeing with you on it.
I know. I just have too many reasons why I think Lucian would be the better choice.
I understand. I think it's going to be Rhys. And it's going to infuriate me, but I think it's going to be Rhys.
Lucian.
I don't like it.
I know you don't like it. I don't disagree that Sarah has a tendency to make Rhys above all of everything.
Yeah.
I think that Lucian's connections to all of the courts plus the continent lends itself more to being a High King, in addition to the fact that I don't want Helion to die.
I think it's going to be Rhys, because I think
Rhys also keeps Elaine in the Night Court without being in the Night Court.
I think it's going to be Rhys, and I think it's because if we were to pull a High Lord meeting right now, he would have the votes to be High King. Which honestly infuriates me. And I think the other thing too is that it also this is what I think is going to happen, and I could be totally wrong, but I think it's going to go down something like this, which is there's going to be something extremely catastrophic happening in Prithian, and the only person that can save it or whatever, because the Amren's already indicated, is going to be Rhys and Feyre. And because Feyre has all of the court's powers, she will become High Queen, he will become High King, and he begrudgingly will do it because it saves Prithian and it saves his court, and then they will give the Night Court to Mor. That is how I think this whole thing, and saying that out loud makes me want to internally vomit, but that is how I feel like this is going to go.
This is where you not diving into anything to do with the Dust Court becomes an issue.
I understand that, but I mean,
there are reasons that I have tied Lucian to the Dusk Court, to the Eighth Court, to the prison.
I get that.
And that's where High King Finn ruled from as High King. That is why I go Lucian. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying that I refuse to entertain the scenario in which Rhys is anything but High Lord of the Night Court.
I think it's the whole hike. I think I'll just speak for myself. I don't like the High King thing. Like, I was very much with Rhys when it was brought up. I was like, nope, we're not going to talk about this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this.
I don't think there should be a High King. I just think that if there is a High King, the best candidate that would be the most worthy and the best at it, who might actually want it, is Lucian.
I don't think Lucian has the votes. That's what I think. I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think he has the votes.
We'll have to see, because I don't think any of that happens until a later Avatar book.
Oh, I would
don't
agree.
think it happens in the next book.
I would agree. And I also think unless it is brought up again, I think we can just move on from it. Because I also kind of have an inkling that maybe she brought it up more to tie it together to Hof, like to Crescent City,
Totally.
rather than to even bring in this other like like this is the other thing. I just have a hard time believing that we're gonna just hand it over to someone again. Like there's so many questions about this, and Amryn was very pushy on it, but I also feel like the reason she was pushy on it is because she has knowledge, and that knowledge can be used for Bryce rather than be used for Prithian. So you and I both don't really want a High King. To be honest.
I just really don't want it to be Rhys.
I don't either. If it ends up being Rhys, I don't want to be right. That's the other thing. Like, I really don't want to be right.
I don't want a High King.
I don't want a High King.
If you get a High King, I want it to be Lucian for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Courtier and Emissary, Lucian Vanzera.
I don't know about that one.
You don't have to like it. It's my theory.
I know. I hate the whole High King thing. It gets brought up in like every live, and I get why, because it's a very interesting topic and it was something thrown out. But like, oh God, do I hate the High King stuff.
So then let's just put a moratorium out on High King.
I feel like we might have to.
You and I are fucking tired of talking
about it. I feel like we might have to. High King, High Queen, we don't want to talk about it anymore because we're over it. Unless it has to do with Thea or Finn. Then we'll talk about it.
The actual High King and Queen.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Why do you think Rhys and Rune look similar?
No idea. Other than they have similar features, and Bryce was in a traumatic situation.
I think it's because I think it's the same reason why Dorian has the same eyes as Elena. I think they're just ancestors of the same person. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean,
Thea ruled from the Dust Court and crossed over.
Right.
And had 2 daughters, one they know of, one they don't.
Right.
There you go.
I do not think they are related in the sense. I think they're related in the sense that like Aelin and Dorian are related.
Distant.
It's extremely distant. It's like so distant you can't even like you can't like you would have to go through a few generations, but I do not think they're related in the sense that like that they're descendants of each. I just know. At one point we talked about that, but I think once Hosap came out, we both disagreed with it.
I hate it.
Okay. All right. Before I let Avery run with this, because she's going to run with this, and
okay. Can I just say?
Yeah.
I have opinions on the Dust Court.
I know.
I have opinions. I don't want to share all of them in
That's fine. That's fine.
I just want them to know that.
Yeah,
Like,
I
there are
think
things I'm going to hold back for myself.
I think also okay, so the question is, do you think there's actually going to be a dust court, and who do you think is going to rule it?
I
First
think there
off,
actually
hold
was a
on.
dust.
Hold on. I think first off, I would say that number one, Avery's more passionate about this than I am.
Uh-huh.
The way we describe this is I tend to not want to deep dive into the dust court right now because I want Sarah to explain it to me. Avery would rather deep dive, but like Avery said, there are things she doesn't want to necessarily discuss. But at this point, I don't think. Do you think there's going to actually be a dust court?
Yes.
Do you think there was a dust court?
Yes.
I would say I think there was a dust court. Do I think there's going to be one? No.
I think there was a dust court. I think the dusk court needs to thrive again.
Yeah.
And we need to find out what happened to the Fae of the dusk court, more than likely in the crossing.
Yeah.
And I think that a dusk court could come back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I think once we understand why it left, it could come back. But I don't think
And
it's going to happen overnight.
And it's, even if we don't get the High King, High Queen thing, I still think we could have an eighth court that's ruled by, in my opinion, Lucian and Elaine
Uh-huh.
from the dusk court.
Yeah.
I have whole things about it, but the thing I will say is,
I'm going to let Avery run with this, and I'm going to step away for like 10 seconds.
the thing I will say about the dusk court is, when you read the end of Hosab and you read about that, and then, sorry, my cat has decided to eat and I don't like that noise. Anyways, when you read the end of Hosab, you read Dusk's truth. You also read in Silver Flames about the Pegasuses or Pegasi, you can say either one, and how they used to live on a moss-covered mountain. They used to thrive there. That is the final mountain that needs to be conquered in the Three Sister Mountains theory. So I have associated it with Elaine. And I think that Elaine not fitting in the Night Court and Lucian feeling like he doesn't fit in anywhere, that could be a really great place for them to fit in together. But that's the start of my dusk court situation. So the dusk court is the prison. I think it will come back. I think Elaine will help revive it. And that's why I put that couple there as some kind of eighth court ruler situation. Why does she choose to eat right now?
There you go. I mean,
I am going to go farther than that, but that is all I want to share now.
Yeah, that's fine. I think the thing is, like, for me, when it comes to the Dust Court and all of that, I think it is going to play a factor primarily in Crescent City at this point, not a factor in ACOTAR. Because I think it is primarily a Crescent City storyline to tie in everything. To tie it into ACOTAR is going to require some interesting weaving that we have not seen in that series. But
I think we're going to have to do that, though.
I think there is some clear indication that that she's left the Easter eggs. Like there's some in Mist and Fury.
It's in Mist and Fury, yeah.
Every time they go to the prison, there's very interesting pieces of dialogue that indicates that it was a court, that indicates it. Explaining it though as dusk is going to be where it's going to get tricky, because again, like, I think you and I both agree where anything regarding ACOTAR that comes across in Flame and Shadow is going to be like Easter egg territory. I always describe it as like the Heir of Fire deleted scene, where it's like nice to know but not required type of a thing.
Right.
So if it's going to end up becoming a bigger storyline, we're going to have to see how she weaves it in that series.
Yeah. I think the only other thing that I will say is the reason I am so set on it being the eighth court being dusk is that of the solar courts you have dawn, day, night. So you're missing dusk.
Right.
So, and it has always bothered me that there was not a dusk court. There are four seasonal courts, and there are only 3 solar courts. And I was just like,
why is there not an 8th court? Right.
Why? Well, I was like, why dawn?
Right.
Like it does.
Why dawn
it
and not
compute
dusk?
with me. Like what? But like, yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a whole.
I get
but
it.
the fact that it's being brought in is why I have latched onto it.
Yeah, I get that. Sorry, I'm downloading my game because this is
The
going to
the revival of the Pegasus needs to happen.
both of us agree with that. Okay, is the Bone Carver the Sin Eater?
Possibly.
I think you and I both think he might have been. Mm-hmm. For anyone who doesn't know, the Sin Eater, if you go back and you read Queen of Shadows, there's a lot of times Aelin spends a lot of time in the tunnels. And at one point, her, Adian, and Rowan, and Kale are going through the tunnels and they come across the temple of the Sin Eater. And it was essentially a god of truth. And it required you to write your sins on bones. And Aelin and Rowan are, as they're going down... Aelin, Rowan, and Adian, as they're going down this tunnel, they're seeing these bones and they're getting older and older and older. And at one point, I think Adian says something like, these are thousands and thousands of years old. And so when Avery and I were doing the mass read-along and we got to Queen of Shadows, both of us were like, this is kind of suspicious. Also, keep in mind, when Queen of Shadows came out, Mist and Fury was just released. So it would not surprise me if there was some sort of direct correlation because she was writing those 2 books very close to each other at the time. So, yes, we both think so. Okay, I had this question for so long. How are the Vanir and Cece able to heal themselves so well? Can they regrow their limbs? Why can't the Throne of Glass or Akatar Fae do that?
I think it has to do with the Asteri.
Yeah, the whole drop situation is something that isn't clear to me fully.
No. Here's the thing about Crescent City. It has likely all of the answers. And we just don't know how to ask the right questions. Yeah. That's where we're at with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very because a lot of people bring up like, could Dorian do the drop or like all of those things, and like,
sure, hypothetically, yeah.
Hypothetically, yeah. Realistically, probably not. But like,
no.
What is the difference between the drop and like the yielding, or the drop and like Aelin falling through the worlds, or like, I don't know. So
yeah,
it's hard to say. Okay,
why does the verbiage for the drop sound exactly like what's happening when Irene pulls Kale out of his Valg infestation? Like, yeah. Why are all of those similar? Like, stop.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to skip around a little bit. So what do you think about necromancy in Crescent City? Do you think that there actually can raise the dead completely, or is it more like what Nesta did with the mask?
I think it's different.
I would agree.
But I also don't think that they're fully alive. So I think I think that the result of necromancy gives a sentience to the person. They have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
Whereas with Nesta and the mask, it was controlling bodies, more like Shadow and Bone, Crooked Kingdom, spoiler, Nina Zenek.
Yeah. It's
an animation of dead bodies versus an actual resurrection.
Yes, like the resurrection stone in Harry Potter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I think also that was clear when Hypexia used it, and she like she tried to resurrect someone to like explain what was going on. That, to Avery's point, was a actual, like, that person had a thought and a mind of their own to communicate to Hypaxia and Ethan. Whereas when Nesta did it, to Avery's point, it was like all these creatures were just following her and she was controlling everyone. And the minute the mask came off, they all went dead.
Necromancy is like in the new Dungeons and Dragons movie when they're talking to the dead zombie things and you have to ask a whole bunch of questions and stuff. Sarah, it's in the trailer.
Oh, okay. I don't want to know.
It's in the trailer. I'm not going to do like a full spoiler here and I'm not going to tell you what they say, but like they use a spell to wake up dead zombies.
Yeah.
And they can ask them 5 questions and then they die again. Like that's it. That's what necromancy is. It's not the same.
Yeah. Okay. So someone said I got a little confused in Silver Flames with the Trove and Nesta. Is she able to summon them all the time? Is she the only one who's able to do that? Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, I think right now she's the only one because of the way it's all locked. So that's why I said yes to both, because
But she doesn't even know how it's locked.
Yes.
It just calls to her.
And she purposefully, if you remember, she purposefully asked not to know how it's locked.
I also want to know what it means now that she's given most of her power back to the cauldron.
Uh-huh.
I want to know what that means for the Dread Trove, because the last time she was able to summon it, she still had her cauldron powers.
Yep. Okay. Could black blood indicate that someone siphons magic, like the Weaver and so on? I don't really understand the question fully, if I'm going to be honest.
So siphoning the magic away is very much an Asteri trait. I don't think the Asteri are Valg, so let's just clear that up. I think black blood is associated mostly with Valg.
Yeah.
Very strictly mostly with Valg. The only exception I have found to it is the Weaver. And I just don't think that the Weaver is Valg. I think that the Weaver, well, we know that the Weaver is a death god. So I don't know why her blood is black.
Yeah. I think to Avery's point, black blood is always a good indication for Valg, but it's not always the only indication, because a lot of people bring up the Weaver, and I can't remember, but there's another creature, I think it's one in Crescent City that had black blood, and they were like, oh, is it Valg? And I didn't think it was, but you and I both think Lanthus was Valg. So,
he was. 100%.
So I think it kind of depends on the creature and some of the other stuff, so. Okay. Wait, I'm gonna skip around a little bit. Okay, this is a fun one. So could Bryce have raw magic because of how she did the drop? I mean, if someone charges her up, she could use any type of magic or something like that. She had wings and a tail. First off, I want to explain what raw magic is, because that is a Throne of Glass thing. It hasn't been seen in other series. So raw magic is basically, it was Elena Galathinius' power. And Dorian inherited it from Elena, because Elena married a Haviliard. That is how the Haviliard storyline started, Elena and Gavin. Raw magic means that they essentially can wield any sort of magic. Even there's actually a really great passage in Empire of Storms with Dorian and Rowan, and because Dorian's asking Rowan to train him, and Rowan basically explains like he can't train someone with raw magic because his magic acts differently as being more elemental. Bryce does not have raw magic. Bryce is a conduit of sorts. And she essentially is like someone who channels magic to then either winnow or to expense it in one way. Raw magic can come up as shifting, as I don't know, ice, wind, fire. Like there's so many things. Bryce doesn't have those abilities.
I think to the person who posed the question's point, Just because the way she did the drop means that she took on a bunch of other people's magic donation
Yeah.
does not mean that she has raw magic.
Yeah, and the
It
way
is she has the ability to access different magics, but she's not even fully trained on what she can do yet.
yeah, and the way it was described in Hosab was that it was more, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it was described more as
I won't
like
be able to. I haven't read it since February of last year.
well, I'm just saying it's described more as like because I think initially when she took on all this magic from the drop, a lot of us thought, oh, maybe it was going to be like a Ra or like a Feyre situation where she could do a bunch of different magic, but it is pretty much described, from my understanding in Silver in Sky Breath, that it's actually more like a battery. Like she essentially, all these people put their magic in there and it was almost like charging. And then Bryce took that charge. So that magic was not necessary. It's like if Rowan and Aelin were to throw their magic in there, it wouldn't be fire and ice. It would just be a drop of their magic. Like like the, you know what I'm trying to say? Like it's
I
just
do.
a kernel of power is probably a better
I
description.
think I completely agree in that she is getting extra power from these people to power her own magic, which is the Starborn magic.
Yeah.
But I do think that we can't rule out accessing what those other powers are yet.
I mean, based off of the way it was described in Sky, I keep saying Silver Flames in Sky and Breath, it made it clear that she wasn't going to be wielding fire or ice.
But it also made it clear that she doesn't know how to do anything with it.
That's true, and it's also
So, and
clear that Hunt is running into the same issue.
And she's gone to
Another
two of
world,
the people,
right?
the guy who trained the girl who has the power of 7 quarts,
Right.
and the girl who has the power of 7 quarts. So I don't
Right.
think we can completely rule it out yet.
Yeah, that's a
But
good point.
as of right now, I don't think that is the direction we're heading.
Yeah, although it would not surprise me if it was, because I mean, Kingdom of Ash proved that at the last possible second, Dorian can turn into a woman. So
And we get what the fuck, Dorian.
Okay. We answered this in our last live, but I'm just gonna briefly touch on it. And it says, what is the difference between Lysandra, Tamlin, and Feyre shifting, and Thesan, Feyre, Irene, Hypaxia's healing? So to answer the shifting part, Lysandra is a full-blooded shifter, and I think the biggest tell is at one point Lysandra says she doesn't even remember what her true like face looks like. Like she has shifted so many times, and that is the fear of a shifter, is that like you kind of lose who you genuinely look like. Feyre and Tamlin, from my understanding, can't get to that point. I don't believe. I think potentially, because obviously Feyre shifted into Tarquin, but it's
Feyre
different.
Tamlin only shifts into that one form.
Yeah.
We don't see him shift into anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that he can't, but we don't see him do it. Feyre, I think, is like a combination of quartz.
Yeah.
Can shift, can utilize the gift to shift herself into other beings or things, or like she'll get the claws, or she can make her own wings, or she can turn into Tarquin and Ianthe. Like she has more flexibility with it.
Yeah.
But it is from Tamlin.
Yeah. Yeah.
It originates with Tamlin.
Regarding the healing, I can't really answer on the Thesan and Feyre. That'll be more you. But regarding Irene and
I don't even know where
Hypax,
the question is.
I'm just reading it. They're just asking to compare Thesan, Feyre, Irene, and Hypaxia. Irene's healing is very similar to Hypaxia's. I would say it felt the most similar regarding how, but I would have to reread Earth and Blood to confirm that, which I'm in the middle of doing. Thesan and Feyre's feels
it's just powerful.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels more magical.
Thesan, his power, like spell cleaving for day, is healing. That is his power. That is his main power.
Right.
that is what Feyre got from him. And it's really I don't even think she knows how to fully like magically heal someone.
Yeah.
It is usually her blood that helps heal people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Another one says, what if the Gold Queen was remade? Her eyes missed, and Elaine had a vision about a woman who everyone thinks is dead, but she changed like her. I don't think the Gold Queen's gonna get remade.
No, I think she's dead.
Yeah, I think she's goodbye. Okay. Okay, the Veritas was described as a star at one point. What if it is one of the starborn objects that Thea left and Bryce can use it to get answers?
Possibly.
Possibly. I think Sarah also, if you go, I mean, even if you go back and you reread Throne of Glass, she describes power a lot of times as stars. There's lots of symbolism behind stars and power. I mean, when Aelin gets her power back from Mala, it's described as a kernel of starlight. So a lot of this could wind up in the same direction. Okay. I am not going to answer this one because that is an opinion, not a question. Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna.
I don't want to touch the top one.
The starlight.
Yeah.
Okay. The one about Moore losing her baby because of the whole Heiress situation, I think is just a horrible, horrible theory that is just not going to happen. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. We talked about more enough.
The first one is going to make me angry.
Wait.
Go away.
This is all I'm going to say about that. That isn't... First off, this is... I'll answer it. Avery, you could just mute. Elaine gifted Asriel earplugs not because of Gwen, but because Nesta and Cassian were getting their freak on so much that he needed earplugs from them. It was clear that's why the gift was given. It was not because of Gwen. It was very, very clearly because of Nesta and Cass getting their freak on.
Perfectly fine with you shipping who you want to ship, but part of the reason we said we're not discussing ship wars is because I'm going to get passionate and that's all this is going to turn into. Yeah. So we're just going to stop saying things like that, please. Thanks.
Okay. Could Midgard represent Earth? I mean, the mortals and the angels kind of add up, but I don't know.
Sure.
I think so. I mean, it's the only one so far that like the humans clearly lived in rather than like Fae always being there. We talked enough about the High King, so I'm going to skip that. Okay. Who do you think is immune to the Trove? Or is it only something that Nesta got from the mother? I don't think she's immune to the Trove. I think she can just control the Trove.
I think she can control it. I don't think she's immune to it. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody's immune to it.
Yeah. I love this. Am I the only one who thinks that the High King theories are getting ridiculous? It would be so unnecessary to have one. The lords would just have to work together. Yes.
Opinion. Fantastic.
Yes. Feyre is a descendant of a former High King. I think there are so many theories about the Archerons being somehow tied to the Fae. You and I have mixed feelings on that. We feel like I don't think they are either. I think there's some very, very tiny threads that could tie them to Fae. But that is really reaching in a direction that I feel like we don't need to go down, in my opinion. Are the Throne of Glass gods that were trapped/banished by Aelin the same as the Asteri and Crescent City? How many gods did Aelin banish and trap? So, no, the gods that Aelin banished and trapped are in hell. It is clearly described in Kingdom of Ash that they are in a hell realm. So would not surprise me if we see them again. I don't remember how many, but it was at least 5.
There are. I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah.
Hold on. I've got it somewhere. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to answer a few others. Doesn't the Suriel also have black blood? I believe so, but I don't think that they are Valg. Are the Crescent City witches part Valg? No, I think they lean more towards the healers. Don't you agree? Probably. We've talked about that.
Wait, what?
Crescent City witches, do you think they're Valg?
Healers. They're like Arene.
Yeah, that's what I think. Okay, being a mystic and scrying could be the same thing. No, because I think a
No.
mystic has. I think their powers might dwell from the same location, but I
A
think being a
mystic is
mystic.
closer to Elaine.
Yeah. What do you think the government in CC is going to look like after the war? I mean, it's a modern world, so it's hard to imagine. I don't know because of the indications around Bryce being queen that was thrown at the very end. That was like, that kind of threw me off, if I'm going to be honest. So I don't know. My answer is unknown. Okay. Let's see. Are the witches... Oh, we talked about that. Could it be... Okay, we'll talk about the void. Are the archangels and Daycourt powers so similar? Their magic is literally the same. Helion and Micah. I know they are not the same species, but still. Actually, I think the archangels have different powers, don't they? I believe all the archangels had different powers.
Yeah. They're not all the same.
I think maybe Micah might have had similar power. I don't even think Micah and Helion had similar powers. I think Micah was just extremely powerful.
I don't remember.
Could Aelin be Amryn? Oh God. Bonecarver
No.
spoke of a Fey warrior whose name is forgotten. Maybe she doesn't have a happy ending and ends up being a slave to be a god's assassin.
No.
No. Oh my God, no. That would hurt my heart. But no, I don't think so.
Like, why would we do that?
Okay. Amryn is, but can we talk? Oh, Amryn's father. We're saving all the Amryn things for a whole different thing. Do you think? Oh, this is a fun one. Do you think Bryce is going to get a Pegasus? She kind of has a connection to them because of her heritage, so it would make sense for her to play with the Pegasus toys. I mean, I don't know if she's going to get a Pegasus, but I hope she rides one.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I'm going to say about that.
I'm getting close to the gods thing.
Oh, the number of gods in Throne of Glass.
Yeah, I'm still scrolling, but I'm close.
I mean, I could have told you it's chapter...
No, I have it in like a message on Discord. I just have to get to it.
Okay. Oh, this is a fun one, and I can actually answer this. So it says, do you think that we're going to get a Thea novel? Also, do you think Bryce is going to talk to her in Hofast, like Aelin with Elena and Brannon? So I do kind of wonder if Queen Thea, it's Thea. I do kind of wonder if Thea is going to get her own novel, only because if you go back to Sarah J. Maas tour from Kingdom of Ash, she brings up that there was a book she wanted to write for ACOTAR that took place prior to the ACOTAR series thousands of years in the past. And that makes me think it might have been this one. Wouldn't surprise me if that's the route we end up going, or if that book has been scrapped entirely. I don't know, but there is that quote, and after reading Hosab, you kind of wonder if that's the book. I actually would be totally down to read a book about Queen Thea, even if it's a short novella. I think it would be very, very interesting. It's just a matter of where she goes. So the gods from Throne of Glass are in the same hell as CC minus Mala. Mala's in there too, because Mala went as well. But they are in a hell realm, I believe, but I don't know which layer of hell from Crescent City. It would be cool if it was the same one that Adis rules, because then we could see them, but I don't actually know. Oh, 7 or 9 is the answer.
I'm close. Just let me. I've scrolled this far. Just let me do this.
Okay, what if the Void and the Mother are the only actual gods in the SJM universe? Am I crazy? I don't remember a mention. I mean, I know someone else asked about a Void in chapter 18 of Akamath, but I don't remember a Void being brought up.
Okay, I missed it. I don't know where it is.
I think it's right. I think it's 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's in there. I wrote them all down. That's what's bothering me, is I have them all written down and who I think they go to.
Yeah. Do you remember a Void being brought up in ACOTAR?
No.
I don't either. And I don't, someone would have to refresh my memory on that, because I genuinely don't remember anything about a Void.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. So it says, so Bryce is made because she made because a made object is bound to her body completely since she did the drop. She is the horn, so she should be truly immortal, right?
No idea.
I see the train of logic you went down. However, I don't think that's how it went. I think she is immortal as a fae typically is immortal. Oh, the void tapestry in Akafas. Oh, but that was more describing like a void of, I think that is a different, I think that void is different than like the cauldron, or I think in Throne of Glass they describe it a little differently. I don't think that void was like a realm or a location, in my opinion. Do you think that Helion is what?
Found it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. There's 12 named.
That go through?
There's 12 named
In all of Throne of Glass.
that are talking.
Oh.
Moment. So there's many faces, steel and screams, crashing waves, that a voice like crashing waves.
Yeah.
Steel and screams. Deanna, shimmering dawn, Mala.
Yeah.
Kind and loving, Silba. Like death, Hellas. Wise calm eyes, Anieth. Loomis, the three-faced goddess, the god of truth, and then there's one more that I put a question mark next to.
Mm-hmm. And
there's 12.
They all went to hell. Okay, this is funny. Do you think Helion is going to be afraid of Bryce because of his reaction to the Trove and Silver Flames?
Yes, please. God, please.
I would actually die laughing at that.
Exactly.
Oh, and then someone said, this is a dumb question, but could Nesta technically summon her? I would die laughing if Nesta could summon Bryce.
She just summons the Trove and all of a sudden Bryce just goes like across the room. Like, wait, what's that?
That would be amazing. Okay, last question that we have in here, which is what if Void and the Mother are the only actual gods in the SJM universe? I don't think so. I think also there's different gods for each series because some gods, like the Southern Continent had 36 gods. So Mala did get sent to hell because Mala gave the kernel, and then when Aelin kicked the door, she went through it. Mala essentially went willingly, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. It was a sacrifice. I mean, her daughter had just been yeeted.
Here, I'll confirm, okay? Because I know exactly where this damn passage is in Kingdom of Ash. So I will pull up my Kindle and confirm. So just give my Kindle a second to update. All right. Kingdom of Ash, chapter 98, I believe. Oh, look at that. Right there. I was right on it, you guys. Okay, So Mala gives her the power, and then she tells her that the word marks, Rowan had hidden word marks on her tattoo, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, one last deceit. Another voice whispered past then, a fragment of a memory spoken on a rooftop in Rifthold. What if we go on? What if more pain and despair? Then it's not the end. The power flowed and flowed through Aelin, her lips curling upward. This is not the end. She was not finished. And then it says, to a better world, Mala said, and walked through the doorway into her own. A better world, a world with no gods, no masters of fate, a world of freedom. Aelin approached the archway to the gods' realm, to where Mala now walked across the shimmering grass, little more than a shaft of sunlight herself. The Lady of Light halted and lifted an arm in farewell, and Aelin smiled and bowed. Far striding over the hills, the gods paused, and Aelin smiled, turned into a grin, wicked and raging. It did not falter as she found the world she sought, as she clipped into that eternal, terrible power. She had been a slave and a pawn once before. She would never be again. Not for them, never for them. The gods began shouting, running towards her as Aelin ripped open a hole into the sky, right into a world she had seen only once, had accidentally opened a portal into one night in a stone castle. Distant baying howls cracked from the bleak gray expanse. A portal into a hell realm, a door now thrown open. And Aelin was still smiling when she closed the archway into the gods' worlds and left them to it, the sound of their outraged, frightened screams ringing out. So technically, Aelin didn't send them to the hell realm, but she opened the portal there to their world, so they were connected. So essentially, she sent them, and then she just opened this massive portal to hell, and then sealed the gate so they couldn't come back through and punish her for it. That's how it
Yeet.
went down. But yeah. So yes, they all.
It wasn't asked, but because I wasn't in the Akawar live, I do want to bring up the Jezebel thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just really quickly. So I sent, in my chaotic ways, I sent Sarah a passage to read that described not Jezebel, Jesminda. And
Yes.
one of the things that I want to point out from that passage is that it says that she seduced Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
She was wild and free, couldn't be contained, and she seduced Lucian.
Yep.
Which are all characteristics that describe Gwen's grandmother. Gwen's mother.
Yeah.
Because Gwen's grandmother is the one who seduced the High Fae of the Autumn Court, but she was a full nymph. Gwen is a quarter nymph.
Yeah.
The timeline does not work.
Mm-mm.
Because the description of her mother being similar to Jesminda. Gwen is 28 years old. Gwen was born in the middle of Amarantha's reign.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily. I think the theories regarding Gwen's parentage, I'm curious to even see if it's something that's even brought up again, or if it's just going to be like a throwaway thing, because Sarah tends to kind of sometimes do that where it's like a throwaway thing. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of like very interesting potential when it comes to Gwen and her relation to Autumn, but
I
who
think
knows?
Gwen is just an interesting character to continue to dive into.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Like, just genuinely. Like, even if she wasn't a potential love interest for somebody else, like, I would still be interested in her and her alone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. She has, especially because in the Akatar universe, the only other priestess we were ever close to, like really close to. I know Clotho was there and everything, but really close to was Ianthe. Yeah. So it's like no one likes Ianthe. So it's kind of nice to have someone be a priestess in the series that we really like. So okay, well, we did it. We answered all the questions. There was just a few we removed. But that's okay. I will say our next thing is we have the House of Earth and Blood playlist party next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. And then we have the Mass 2.0 Zoom call next Wednesday or next Friday. And that is if anyone's welcome to join it. It's just a Zoom. It's a very casual Zoom call. We're going to be discussing Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows. So it's the fun ones.
And then I get to go to the Georgia Renaissance Festival next Saturday. Yeah. It's Harry Potter weekend.
Ridiculous.
Do you want to see my outfit came in?
Oh my god. You want to show off your outfit?
No, it's okay.
I want to see it on you. I want to wait and see the whole presentation.
I can go put the hat on.
You want to go put the hat on?
I don't know.
They said they want to see it. It's Amanda.
I'll put the hat on so you guys can as a teaser.
Okay. And then
Harry Potter weekend.
I'll talk about Fourth Wing like super, super quick, just like our plan for it. Regarding Fourth Wing, because it really was a series that we loved, and I don't say that very often when it comes to a lot of series. I think a lot of times we do buddy reads with them and we're like, yeah, it was fun, whatever, it was good. But this was definitely one that captured our attention, and we deeply loved and like wanted you guys to love it too. So we do plan on doing a spoiler discussion. Like I said, we will probably do a recap night right before the November. I'm working really hard to get something from Red Tower so that we can have something in October with them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. Oh, the hat is so cute on you. Oh, so cute.
I'm so excited.
The hat is so cute. And then the Fourth Wing live we haven't planned yet, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. And then we do have, I think, so Earth and Blood, I named that. I don't think we have anything else going on this month. I mean, besides the House of Earth and Blood live later at the end of the month. But I think that's it.
Yeah, that's May 26th.
Yeah, May 26th. So, yeah.
I have 86 things going on at work that night, so this will be very interesting.
Oh, do you really? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no, we have our first Flash night of the season. It's, like, really close to our first concert. Like, we have a rental. It's fine. All of staff is handling. My phone might ring in the middle of the live. We don't know.
Right? I know. Yeah. So we got a lot of really fun stuff, but you definitely want to come to our listen party because our listen parties are really fun. And this House of Earth and Blood has been a blast to set up, although I need to finish part 2 and 3 and 4, but I have 40 songs in it right now.
Oh, update, because I have been sick and busy and terrible and stuck in the spring court. Akabath notes are coming along. They should be done by this weekend, so hopefully that'll be coming to Reading Rose soon.
Yeah, and then we have the Earth and Blood notes just are going to get updated this month. So and they just need a very literally the last chapter is what needs to get updated. That's how ridiculous it is. That's it. Okay, we did it. Yay. Okay, let me just get all of my fun music-y stuff all set up. So
okay,
did it not do it? Where? There we go. Bye, guys.